Hello everyone, George Schlacek here, the one and only. Let me ask you a question. What is it you really want out of life? Let's assume you're well into your adult years. Average life expectancy is 75 to 80 years, depending where you live and some other factors. Are you halfway there? Have you figured out what it is you really want out of life? Is it your dream home? A luxury car? Perhaps traveling the world? Perhaps you think it's lack of money that's holding you back, and that a big bank account would lead to a more fulfilling life. But have you ever really thought about how the rich and famous live, and if this lifestyle would actually appeal to you? Well, perhaps you dream of a retirement where you're surrounded by a large family who all appreciate you for your life experience and come to you and all fulfill your life in their own various ways. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But you're not there yet. Nowhere near. However, whatever you want out of life, you have to start somewhere, and you have to start working toward it at some point. Well, are you? I'm pretty sure there are many among us who have a fulfilling career that meets all their needs and brings them toward their future dreams. Keep it up. Keep going, that's good. However, a 2017 study by Gallup has revealed that about 85% of us actually hate their jobs. Let that sink in. 85% of us don't like what they're doing, what they're spending their time with, most of their time with, on a daily basis. And what's worse, they're letting it slide. They're not doing a thing about it. How is this possible? While I have a rough idea what the reasons for that might be, I have to admit that I don't completely understand. And so I would appreciate if you could leave me some comments in the comment section about what it is for your friend, perhaps yourself. I want to understand. Now, you might be wondering about my story. Here I am in my 50s and I'm telling you I don't understand why you're working your job. Okay, here's what I understand. I can relate to working at a job you don't like. Many times I have fallen into that trap, getting into a job, starting out excited about the possibilities, only to end up disillusioned and disappointed 6 months to a year later. Happened to me over and over. I didn't last more than a year and a half in most of those jobs. The only exception was a mechanic job at Zellers, a company that went under here in Canada several years ago. And I could tell you I wasn't happy there neither, but I stayed. What kept me at Zellers was a generous benefit package and perceived job security. But see, my idea back then was to stay on as long as it took to become eligible for a leave of absence of a year. And I was going to use that to start my own business. See what that means? There seemed to be a way out. That kept me working. Not much else, except for perhaps the paycheck, regular paycheck, yeah. Once the Zellers job was gone, I was back to a year and a half per job until one day I finally had enough, and I did something about it. I decided to change careers and fulfill an old childhood dream. I wanted to travel the world as a highway driver. At that point, around the year 2000, I had not seen much of the US, neither Canada, where I was living since the 1980s. My trucking career started off with 2 failed attempts to get the Class 1 license. But once I passed that hurdle, it took straight up. In the fall of 2001, I became an owner-operator with only a year of driving experience under my belt. A dream had come true, and I truly felt like I was no longer working. I was just living a lifestyle, and I loved it at the time. It was usually at a moment's notice that I was being sent to faraway US destinations like Laredo, Texas, or San Jose, California, just to name a few examples. The good assignments, I was getting paid by the mile. took me away from home for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. There were considerable challenges which kept me on edge, kept me learning, and kept it interesting. It was fulfilling because I was constantly getting better at what I was doing. I was into it 100%. Now, before you sign up for a trucking career at any of the large companies, listen to the end of my story. 9 years later, I was a wreck. My family was falling apart. My ex and I went separate ways as soon as our daughters had both passed age 18. My health was poor. I had chronic back pain and had dangerously low good cholesterol, HDL. I was burnt out. I lost nearly everything I ever worked for. What had happened? Dreams change, and all too often we don't change with them. We stop following our dreams because we're stuck in an old dream that had suddenly turned into a nightmare. Bam! We're stuck. Many of us are deep into debt, which keeps us there until it is too late. You can't count on perfect health in your 60s and 70s when you finally retire if you live that kind of a lifestyle. Here's what saved me. In 2009, I started a bicycle tour from Central Ontario, Canada. Over the next 6 months, that tour took me to Cancun, Mexico. Before this tour, I had never traveled more than half a day on a bicycle. I did not have a new bike or expensive gear, and I certainly didn't know how to fix my bike. Those 6 months completely changed my life. Traveling through unknown territory on a daily basis at bicycle pace is a form of meditation. My mental condition did a complete 180, even within the first few weeks of that tour. I became physically stronger and started feeling better than I had in years. I learned a lot. See, as a trucker, I had seen a lot of destinations, but mostly all I've ever got to see was the truck stop, the industrial park, and the interstate highway. Now I was getting to see the world from a different perspective. I learned Spanish. I got to see and partially understand Mexican culture, and once I returned from the tour, my eyes were open to completely different new possibilities that I hadn't seen before. In short, I realized that life, no matter where you are, is a huge gift. Today I'm self-employed, doing what I enjoy, and to prevent burnout, I take breaks that are much longer than a regular vacation. Life's a huge gift if you take control of it, and you can take control of yours too. I have a passion for bicycle touring, but it is not about who has the best bike or the best gear or how to train for a faster bike ride. No, it's all about the journey and what you make of it. I have written the book, Destinations Are Fake, and it's about that tour. It goes much deeper than I can go in this video. In the coming weeks and months, you will see videos on my channel that are titled Destinations Are Fake, covering parts of the book. They are meant to share my story and inspire you to take control of your life. Do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of this. With this, I want to thank you for watching. See you next time.
You can find a link to Destinations Are Fake down below in the description, or you can order from me directly if you're in Edmonton or anywhere close. I will sign the book for you. And thanks again.